Want to do another round of applause for the musicians. You guys were incredible. I tell you, nothing impresses me more than somebody that can sing and play an instrument at the same time. It's amazing. I can barely drive and turn the radio on at the same time. I do music, AM, FM, tapes. I can still do the old 8-tracks because I'm from the 80s. Any Gen Xers out there? Huh? See, you guys don't understand. We are the veterans of World War III. You know, we were the guinea pigs. You know, in the 80s, smoking was healthy. I don't know if anybody remembers an old Dudley Moore movie with Kirk Cameron. You know, he was a doctor, and they literally smoked in the hospital. Right? I was watching this at 10 years old, and my parents were like, don't smoke. And, you know, they thought it was funny, though, because there were a lot of adults back in the 80s that gave kids cigarettes just because they thought it was funny. Like, look at him smoking. You know, they gave us the gum, had the little cigarette. It was the smoker starter pack, right? You know, you guys, you know, we figured out smoking was bad for you. You know, all you vapors out there, anybody got a vape? Thank us, huh? Thank us. God, I would have loved to have been a vapor. You know, instead I smoked cigarettes for 30 years. I mean, when I was 10, my role models were the Marlboro Man and Joe Cool. You know, a lot of brainwashing going on. Let me back up, though. First off, I was born to nerds. My parents are 80 and 82. My mom and dad are 80 and 82, and they grew up in the 50s. And in the 50s, girls wanted to be moms. They wanted to be housewives. You know, guys wanted to be soldiers, and that's what my father was. My dad was a captain in the Navy. My grandfather was a commander in the Navy, served in China. My great-grandfather left Europe at 12 years old as a cabin boy on a boat. Like, just took off. And so, you know, I came along and listening to We're Not Gonna Take It, right? I'm 12 years old. Nothing's going on at home. No TV. We have 3 TV channels, right? The 4th channel came along in 1986. That's when Fox was released. So that's how boring it was at home. No tablets, just music, right? Then Beastie Boys came along, right? Got to fight for your right to party, right? I mean, that's what they were teaching us through the music. But my parents, June and Maude Cleaver, right? They knew nothing about drugs, alcohol. They knew nothing about it. They figured that the Nancy Reagan "Just Say No" motto was going to work. You know, they believed that. You know, the problem was they lied to us, right? There was a lot of lying going on in the 20th century. Not just the smoking. You know, it was really suspicious. My parents went to church every single Sunday. I went to Bible school. And I got to be honest, some of the stories just didn't click. You know, they said Jesus came here to live the sins of man, right? But Mary Magdalene said that wasn't his wife, right? How's he going to live the sins of man if he doesn't have a wife? I mean, anybody been married? It is not easy. Not easy at all. I've been married 11 years. My wife is fabulous. We are deeply in love. We were both addicts, which makes it fun. You know, however, I decided long ago that I would rather be married than single and at an addict, you know, because at least we're a team, you know. We bounce off each other. We do really well together. We are in remission, however, right now, so it's not contagious. So fear not. But you never know. I mean, I've been doing this thing for 30 years. I first saw crack when I was 16 years old. You know, parents had no clue. My older sister was a virgin on her wedding day, never did a drug. My other sister was 9 years older, off to college. It's like they skipped the whole temptation thing. And then at 16, my best friend's older brother was like, hey, here's some crack. Here's some hookers. And, you know, so my nerd family, I was like, they really don't know what they were talking about, you know, because they told me pot was bad. You know, back in the 80s, you know, it's a Schedule 1. I think it's in some states in Alabama, marijuana is still just as bad as crack, just as bad as heroin, which is crazy to me because I don't know if you've been to Alabama, but it still seems like it's the 80s there. You turn on the radio station, they're still playing Cyndi Lauper, and they're just getting into that phase of life. But, you know, being a crackhead is not all bad. I can figure out a lot of shit. You know, I can go for days. You know, my kids don't understand it. Like, if we have a work project, I can work 18-hour days. My My son's like, how the hell do you do it? I mean, I did 6 years in prison. I mean, I've dreamt of crawling home from 1,200 miles. I was in prison up in Delaware, and my family was in Florida. And in prison, you really understand pain. Addiction. If you're a drug addict, living on the street, fighting a disease, you really understand pain. So what I've learned is addicts, people who've really been through hell, those are the strongest people on the planet. They have the potential to soar higher than anybody. I've met some addicts that, come back and are just the most amazing people you possibly imagine. We've got some celebrities, Whitney Houston, famous crackhead, Scott Weiland, Stone Temple Pilots. I mean, everybody knows who does Tiger Blood, right? Charlie Sheen. We've got a new possible president, Hunter Biden. He's soon to be the president of the Crackhead Society. Not sure about his dad, though. That's what it looks like after you smoke crack for a few days. I'm wondering if that could be Joe's demise. Anyway, all right, my name's Brian. I got to go. Thank you all.